tell you what, anybody who is unmoved by that intro, Jet, is not human, in my opinion, mate. That's a wonderful, wonderful intro. How is everybody? You guys okay?
Yeah, yeah, we're doing
Excellent.
good.
Excellent, excellent. So, viewers out there, unfortunately, Raftbuilder is unable to join us. It's a pain in the ass when work gets in the way, but unfortunately, sometimes work gets in the way of life, right? So, yeah, the Raftbuilder's unable to join us for today's shows. He will be deeply missed, and we hope work's not too bad, Raftbuilder. We hope you're well, my friend. So today's show, we're going to talk about films that inspired us, or a film that inspired us, a film that blew our mind, and a film that screwed us up. Now, it could be one film that covers all three categories. It isn't for me. I don't know what it is for Jet and Krix. However, I've got to share a story before we get into that. So, last week, against my better judgment, we spent some time discussing horror films, which, for those guys that tuned in last week, it's not my genre. I can't watch horror films, right? My brain just doesn't accept this is reality and this isn't reality, right? So we spent a good hour chatting about horror films, and there were some things that stayed with me. Jet, particularly the conversation we had about The Exorcist and those, do you remember at the start where it's boom, 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 right? So
Yeah.
Thursday night, I live in a very small condo, right? I live in a very small condo. Thursday night, something caught my eye to my right, okay? So I looked, and I got, because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, so the curtains are closed. I looked underneath, I can't believe it. For some reason, my trainers, my kicks, my sneaks were underneath the curtain, and I jumped out my skin. Right? I honestly thought somebody was here. I was like, "Oh my god, what?" And then I realised it was Anyway,
And you're the same person who put your trainers there, eh?
well, yeah, and do you know what? That's the thing. I must have done it. I just don't remember putting my trainers there, right? Or kicks or sneakers or whatever they're called these days. For Jet, for you and me, because we're that old, they're trainers, right? And
Yeah.
you watch football, so trainers. I think for Krix and her generation, it's sneakers or kicks or
Kicks.
Yeah.
kicks, right?
It's cakes, yes.
It's kicks, right? Okay, so I'm looking forward to this discussion, and honestly, I was okay with what blew my mind and what scared me, because obviously I hardly watch any horror films, but I really did struggle with the inspirational movie. That really threw me, because there's quite a few out there. So
Yeah.
if it's all right with you guys, I'd like to start with the scared and the blew my mind, and then we'll do inspiration as the last category. Is that okay?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sounds
All
like
right
fun,
then.
yeah.
Okay. Crix, ladies first.
Again. But I'm not a
Again, of
lady.
course.
Just kidding. Anyway, we're gonna do the
Let's
which one?
let's all do the scared first. Then we can have a
Ah,
discussion about the scared, and then we can do what blew our mind. Or it's not so much scared yet, right? It's what screwed you up, right? So it
Yeah.
could be scary, or it could be something that screwed you up.
Mhm.
Then we can do what's the next one? Blew my mind, or blew your
mm,
mind, and then the last one is inspiration, because I really struggle with it. So, Crix, why don't you kick us off with what screwed you up? What blew your mind?
okay. The thing that screwed me up. I actually have a theme here on my choices. So, I actually chose the movies from 1985. So the first one that I've chose was Return to Oz. I understand that
Mhm.
that was supposed to be a sequel to the Wizard of Oz. But when I've watched it in the 90s, especially during the cable years, I was really freaked out by the interchangeable heads of the witch, and also for the fact that it tackles the psychological fears of the children back then. I remember the pumpkin head or the jack o' lantern was really scary. the mouth is not moving, and I just realized that George Lucas was supposed to help with the production of that film to make the head interactive, but unfortunately they doesn't have the time and also the budget. And it's really creepy because thinking that you are a kid and then you are being hospitalized. At the same time, you have this task that they have to, or Dorothy have to choose a lot of things. So it kind of scared me up or really freaked me out during those years. And the kid there was Firuza Balk, the one from The Craft, one of my favorite
Mhm.
actors by the on the 90s.
Cri-
So yeah.
Crix, Crix, I have a high amount of respect and admiration for you. However, I don't think I would want to spend a split second in your head. And let me explain why, right? Return to Oz is meant to be quite a nice story, but you've just put a completely different flip on it, and I'm never going to watch. I'm not going to watch that film ever based on that.
It's
But yeah,
actually
no.
good, yeah. But they actually tackled the worst fears of the children back then. First of all, the daunting task of responsibility, being hospitalized, being well stuck in or being stuck in the realm of a witch. So yeah, it's really creepy. So, but it's a good movie, underrated one. It followed the book that it was supposed to be. The macabre was there, but yeah, 10 out
Cool.
of 10. Would recommend then.
There we go. Okay, Crix, thank you very much for that recommendation. Well, I don't know if it's a recommendation because it screwed you up, right? So maybe it's not something you'd recommend to the audience out there. No worries. Let's go over to Jet the Geek. Jet, where you going, my friend?
Well, what really scarred me, I'm
Scarred. Holy
yeah.
crap! We're getting into therapy area again, mate. Go for it.
I was a very good swimmer, open water. I come from the beach and then just swim.
Okay.
Until I was 13 or 13 or 14. I could remember like I was 12. We were in Zambales and then fishermen were already hauling their catch for from the night before. So I would swim out in the open water, about 12 feet or so, and without any life vest, I would go deep down, dive, and then look at the net or where the fish were all there. And so that was fine. I was very confident with my swimming skills. I could swim anywhere. I'm not afraid. And then my brother made me watch Jaws.
I don't think you need to say anything more, right? That's the one right there.
So from then on, I whenever I get like if I'm on the beach, if ever I get to this deep neck deep, I would already stop, and then my comfort level would be chest deep. Because anything that brushes the underneath, like my leg, I'm going to scream. I'm going to swim to the shore right away. So now I prefer swimming in the pool instead of the open water.
Oh, so it's not turned you off completely from swimming, just from swimming in the open water versus
Yeah.
indoor swimming. All right, okay, cool.
But salt water, no. Open water, no. That's like,
Oh my god. Paul, I have this story with Jet. I don't know.
Share. Sharing is caring.
I'm
It is a therapy session after all, right? So let's do it. Let's do it.
already laughing. Have you experienced drowning, but at the same time you're wearing life vest?
Well, wouldn't that defeat the purpose? Isn't the whole point of the life vest so that you don't drown? No?
Actually, this happened to me and Jet last 2016. We were in Karamoan and I was really afraid of open waters. I don't know how to swim. And then one of my friends said, "Hey, Krix, let's go. The water is inviting." I was like, "I don't know how to swim."
I
And
wasn't I was in the boat that time when these girls went decided to swim on their own.
These
Alright?
girls. Careful, mate. Careful what you're saying there. Go on. Sorry, Crick.
Okay.
and then I was like, "Okay, let's swim." I was like floating with my life vest. But then I realized the boat was really far away from us. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm already drowning!" And I'm really afraid that someone might pull my leg from the bottom of the sea. And then Jet saw us and he rescued us. But he realized that one of my companions eh, doesn't know how to swim anymore. Her leg was like really tired from swimming. We had this unforgettable picture on Facebook, and I don't want to recall it anymore. So that's why it's an open or
So
ve-
this is the other problem, right? They were all wearing life vests, but they were face down in the water. So it defeats the purpose of the life vest. I said,
Does-
turn over, turn. And she said, how? Just like this. I showed her, just like this, turn
I
over.
cannot.
And then the boat was drifting away. The boat was drifting. So I had to swim. So I had to grab her life vest and swim. So like, and then I felt like I've been swimming so hard and I was not gaining any ground. And I saw when I looked at them, these two girls were just lying there, not doing anything. I was pulling two of them, trying to get to the boat, and they're just there, like sunbathing and all. They're not even flapping their hands or legs.
That's why I
so,
hate open waters.
so the moral of the story is ask for help, but try to help yourself as well, right? And try and understand what a life jacket's role is. Got it. Cool. All right. So I'll go on the screwed up category, which is really straightforward. We spoke about these last week. So the two films that, well, I've only got two down. Exorcist really messed my head, and I only watched the first couple of minutes, and I legged it out the cinema, or actually at college. You're watching it in a dorm there. But the one that I watched all the way through and still affects me now is It.
Oh.
I,
Oh.
even now, even when I've been going, quarantine for the past nearly 12 months, even now when I open the refrigerator, I'm worried, right? I'm worried that I'm going to hear that, come to the light, come to the light. So yeah, so there's mine. Cool.
That's
Okay,
scary.
let's do the ones, let's do next category, blew my mind. So, Crix, which film
Oh,
blew your mind?
again, sticking with the 1985 movies.
So can I ask why did you decide 1985? What was so special about 1985?
Because first of all, my dad is actually a teen or on his 20s on 1985. So I was really exposed on the movies that he was watching back then. And this quarantine, I've been into the 1985 Brat Pack.
Okay.
So I've continuously watched all these films, and I really love the 80s, even though I'm not born in the 80s. So yeah, it really inspired me, especially the style, the music, the soundtrack. Yeah, and
Perfect.
the reason I chose or the movie that really blew my mind will be Back to the Future.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. First of all, they started the reason why one of my favorite boy bands name were like McFly. I don't know if you heard that. They are really big back then in the UK. And at the same time, there's a band called Busted.
Yeah.
Their song was like year 3000, and they were talking about the flux capacitor. So yeah, the what blew my mind there was the aspect of time travel, and of course Michael J. Fox was really cute back then. Imagine if, Eric Stoltz playing Marty McFly. It won't be good. But he was the supposed to be he was supposed to play Marty McFly, but yeah. The soundtrack, yeah, The Power of Love. Uh, it's a
Huey
good
Lewis and
one.
the News.
Huey Lewis
Yeah,
in the News, right?
Mm.
it
Okay.
is. Yeah, and of course you love Christopher Lloyd's character there as Dr. Brown. Gives you an inspiration about the aspect of not ruining everything you are fated to be, but at the same time you'll win at the end. And yeah, let's not forget Leah Thompson, the one who played the mother, and also Crispin Glover, very memorable performance. So
Correct.
there, love
I
it, love
remember.
it. Yeah, I
Crix
love
has really
Back
done
to
her
the
homework
Future.
here, you know? Crix has
Yeah.
really done her homework.
hmm
Perfect, cool.
Oh
Crix,
yeah.
for an extra point, what was McFly's breakthrough single?
Oh, there's a lot. Is it not that girl? Obviously. I forgot. Five colors in her hair.
Five Colours in Her Hair was the first breakthrough
Yeah.
single, yeah. And
Yeah.
it was
Do, do,
written
do, do, do.
it was written about an actress, and I forget what what TV series they were in, but it was written because the lead singer of McFly at the
Mhm.
time had a crush on that actress. So
They also,
it's about her.
yeah, they also did one for Lindsay Lohan.
Oh,
I
I don't.
forgot her. Yeah.
I'm not.
When
I'm
they
not a
did Just My
McFly
Luck.
or a Busted fan. I just keep some crap in my head sometimes, and that's just crap.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
To know.
There we go. Perfect. Cool. All right. There's a lot of stuff about McFly and Busted, their relationship, who the lead singer. So the lead singer of McFly, Tom Fletcher, his wife is a host of a podcast back in the UK.
Okay.
So she's famous in her own right. She's got a podcast that's got 7-8 million audience members. And then his sister, Carrie
Mhm.
Fletcher, is a big theatre person. She's an actress within the theatre, and she's played
Mhm.
lead roles in the Heathers musical and also Les Mis. I know too much, really poor information, right? So yeah, useless. All right,
It's all right. I have a lot of those too.
Nice.
Useless information.
mate. That's why we'll never be successful, right? That's because there's only so much space in your brain, and if it's all full with rubbish, then there's nothing of any note that's gonna stick in there, right?
I'm
Okay.
actually surprised that Paul knew McFly and Busted because they're really famous in the 2000s and they're like really
How
the
old do
boy
you think
band
I am?
genre.
What? Suddenly I stopped listening to music because I hit 30? No,
Seriously, I
Crix!
was like 8 or 7 or maybe 9 or 10 when I was listening to them. I was like really wow.
I was
I'm
20, I think.
surprised.
20s I was. Because I was born 72, so they were big 80s, noughties, so yeah.
Yeah.
20, 30, something like
So you
that.
were in
Old.
the entire Manchester music scene
Yeah.
then.
Dude, even now, you cut me, I bleed. Oasis, Stone Roses, James.
Stone Roses.
Yeah, Stone
Yeah.
Roses, man. They're the problem with the. I know we're digressing, but quickly, the Stone Roses are a fantastic band for anybody out
hmm
there. Well,
It
well
is.
worth getting them. The reason they didn't have a global success as much as Oasis was because they waited too long between the first and the second
The
album.
second
Right?
album. Yeah.
Both are fantastic. Both are masterpieces. But they just wasted. Fool's Gold. Fool's Gold
hmm
is a track that just means so much to me. But we're not going to get into that anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, Jet the Geek. Which film or films blew your mind?
One that stood out was Fight Club.
Oh,
Oh, that's a great shout.
it's a good one. Yeah.
You were watching it and you always thought that there were two people, there were two characters, and at the end of by the end of the film it was just one person,
Oh,
Mind
and
Jet
blown.
Man.
he was able to steer everything. The government shook the government, the entire uh
Brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Brilliant.
entire fabric of the civilization then, just because of that principle. And watching the films, like, you thought that there were two people, but it was just one.
We
When
shouldn't
you
talk
watch the
about
film,
it.
yeah, we should.
First rule.
When you watch the film back, knowing what you know, when's the biggest indication that, sorry, spoiler alert, that there's
Tyler.
only one person, that there's not two for
Uh,
you?
Helena Bonham Carter, when she was, what's wrong with you? That she has this interaction that it feels like that uh, a totally different person that she was dealing with, but it feels like that she was talking to the same person, but Edward Norton has a different. It's like a different shifting
Personality.
moods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, there's a
Tyler.
bit. I don't know if you remember the film, but there's a bit where she picks up the phone, right?
Hmm.
She picks up the phone, and there's something to. I can't remember it now, but it's something to do with the death rattle. You suddenly stop hearing somebody breathing, or you hear somebody. I forget what it is, but when I watched it back, that was like, yeah, that's the bit for me. That's the bit where you kind of go, hang on. But again, I watched it back. Wow. All right. So this is my comfort zone now. I have a list. And there's a theme in the list. So I'll leave my kind of the one that blew my mind right till the end. So think films that were in the running: Inception, that proper
Good
mess with my
one.
head. Sixth Sense at the end. That's a
Yeah.
huge reveal. This, you guys may or may not be familiar with this film, Secret Window, with Johnny Depp. Have you ever seen that?
Not yet.
I recommend that. That's a really probably underrated film. It's one of Johnny Depp's, in my opinion, one of his best performances. It's a superb film. It's about a writer who goes and lives in the woods, and he has a log cabin. And that's what I can't say too much, but it's what happens in the surrounding area. It's a brilliant film. Brilliant film. Krix, you mentioned this last week, and I'm surprised it's not on your list. Memento.
Yeah, because I understand that you will be saying it this on this episode. So I was like, okay, I'll let Paul into it.
Yeah,
But yeah, Memento is really good.
excellent.
Awesome.
And I love Guy Pearce in that film as well. Because for us from the UK and of a certain generation, we know Guy Pearce as Mike from Neighbours, right? Which was an Australian soap opera, and
Yeah.
that was kind of, was it? Yeah, Neighbours. It's the same show that launched Kylie Minogue and
Is
Jason
it like
Donovan.
Home and Away?
Yes, it is. It's exactly like Home and Away. It's just called Neighbours.
How about
rather than
Coronation
Home and Away.
Street? They have like in the UK you have those, right?
Yeah, not like Coronation Street is hard Manchester. It's kind of, yeah. So yeah, it's not all sun and shine like you got in Neighbours. But the film that really blew my mind, and to this day, I remember getting in the car afterwards and saying to the people in the car, I feel like I've been on a roller coaster, was The Matrix. The first Matrix film.
Yeah.
That just changed my perception of what you could do with the cinema, right? What you could do with through a film, the story you can tell, and the boundaries that you think you set yourself. Wonderful
Yeah. Plus,
film.
Good movie.
it's going to make you think that is this really reality? Or are we plugged in?
Or are we a simulation? Or is this a
Yeah.
simulation?
Let's not do that because I won't sleep tonight. But there's a school of thought from some scientists that say, was it 50-60% chance this is a simulation? But I kind of think, did I really decide myself that I wanted to be mates with Jet in this simulation, right? Is that why haven't I wished myself to be a millionaire? Right, anyway, do you know what I mean? Okay, right. Last part of today's live stream or live cast is the inspired section. Now, I've got a momentum. I've just got a long list, so we'll leave me till last. Krix, which film or films inspired you from 1985?
Yeah, that will be The Breakfast Club. Yeah,
Oh.
soundtrack itself. Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
the opening sequence was the song by David Bowie. That's Changes.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
Changes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the line that really get me was the brain, an athlete, basket case, princess, and a criminal. So the reason why I chose The Breakfast Club, first of all, I love 80s films. John Hughes really made an impact in that scene, especially in the teen comedy or teen dramas. You cannot just miss the Breakfast Club in every survey I've read. And the reason why I chose this is because, of course, I can relate to Allison's character. That would be the basket case. Isn't it
It's a bit
obvious?
harsh. Krix is a bit harsh on yourself
But
there.
yeah. But I find myself being in the shoes of those characters. I sometimes feel like I'm Brian, the brain, or I feel like the athlete, Emilia Esteves character. Also the princess, I can be spoiled sometimes, but also the criminal. You have this criminal minds or criminal thought that you cannot shut out. But I'm not a serial killer, but I'm sorry.
Well,
But
there's been a couple of
just
times
kidding.
where I'm being a little bit concerned, Krix, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, but I'm not, just kidding. But if you are going to analyze Breakfast Club, it gives you the idea of the generation gap. Of course, they have the teacher, Mr. Vernon, who really made the club full, and then he was the catalyst of the story. So you have to think of the relationship of the characters towards their parents, and how Allison mentioned that when you grow up, your heart just really well, it love just dies. So it inspired me to be somehow understanding to the generation ahead of me, namely maybe my parents, also someone older than me. I have to understand that we have our gaps, but I don't want to be the person who criticized them that, hey, we have this gap, we're not allowed to be friends. That's why they have clicks on the movies. And at the same time, the soundtrack, Simple Minds. I always have that one on Spotify, on every phone that I ever have. And yeah, John Hughes really revolutionized the genre of teen movies. I love Pretty in Pink. I love Home Alone even. But I also appreciate Saint Elmo's Fire, but that was not directed by John Hughes. Yeah, but yeah, Breakfast Club.
Cool. And I think the way that he finishes the film with Simple Minds, alive and kicking, is
Mhm.
possibly one of the greatest ends to a film
Ever.
ever.
Yes.
Ever. Right. Perfect. That's a great shout. Great. And that's something I can relate to because I love that film. So good shout.
Good.
Good shout.
Going back to Simple Minds, I they have this distinct sound,
Yeah.
especially that is brought by the drum line by the drummer. That is very pounding and very 80s sound.
Very very
Yeah.
80s and
Mm.
you know, they were well at the time and even now if you go back and listen to them they were pioneers in terms of what they were doing because you
Mhm.
compare them to the sounds that were around at that time and I don't mean the likes of Bowie because Bowie was just on a different level, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But if
Mhm.
you look at the likes of like Spandau Ballet, Duran
Mm-hmm.
Duran, it's
Mhm.
all very new
The
romantic,
New
right?
Romantics,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
But then you'd
That
romantics.
one.
Yeah.
contrast that to kind of Simple Minds and um, I've forgotten them. Tears for Fears.
Tears
You
for
Fisher.
Fears.
contrast that to those bands, then you can hear the clear distinction in the type of sounds and what was going on at that time. Because the 80s in the UK, I don't know if you guys ever watched any documentaries, but some people will tell you it was a great place. Others will tell
It
you the
was.
truth.
It
But
was. It was. No,
yeah, mhm.
the 80s, the music scene during the 80s in the UK spilled over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I kind of I mean in terms of standard of living, right?
Oh, all right. Okay.
Because there was a lot of things that were happening politically. There was the
Mm.
Falklands War. There was the miners' strike.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Thatcher was in power for what felt like 50 or 60 years, but in reality was just 10 years. And she did some good things, but she also did some things that
I think that was Thatcher, right?
Thatcher,
She's
yeah,
starting to
Yeah.
yeah privatize the public offices, and yeah, I've heard that one. or
Yeah.
I read that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of stuff that was happening at that time, and hence, as with most things, right, when things aren't necessarily going well, people need an output, and the output tends to be artistically, whether that's painting, drawing, music. Now it would be kind of YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. People need to share their emotions, and particularly nowadays, it's more open and it's more acceptable to to do those type of things, right? We're going in a completely different direction for today, right?
But
This really
yeah,
is.
Paul, you mentioned that you're from Manchester, right? Is
Well,
it?
No,
I'm
no,
actually
he's not
from.
from Manchester.
I'm
Ah, I
actually
see.
from. No. I'm from a small place in North Wales called
Uh-huh.
Llandudno, right? So I'm Welsh
Oh,
by birth, and I just love being Welsh. But I did spend a large chunk of my adulthood in and around the Manchester area,
mm,
Bolton, Rochdale, those places.
my favorite band is from there. I don't know if you're familiar with it. The 1975.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I don't know them. I can't ring them up and go, "Hey guys, how you
But
doing?" But yeah, I've
yeah,
heard of them.
the music was like really 80s inspired, and the vocalist mom is or Denise Welsh and Timothy Healy. I'm not sure
Oh,
if you're
okay.
familiar with it.
No,
With
I'm
Dennis.
familiar. I know those guys. If you're quickly, and then we need to go to Jet. But if you do like Denise Walsh and Tim Healy, right? Tim Healy got his big break in a TV series called Alfida St. Pat, which is hilarious if you want to dig that up. But then they both appear in a sitcom called Benidorm. Now, if you really want to know what UK sense of humour is like, Benidorm will be one of those programs where you're watching it and you're laughing and you're going, I don't want to laugh at this. I know it's not politically correct, but I can't stop myself. So, yeah, there you go. There you go. So, yeah, Benidorm and Alfida St. Pat. Okay.
Is it
Yeah,
is it
go on, mate.
similar to Benny Hill show?
For the noughties, yeah, it's similar to the Benny Hill. So
All
you
right.
don't get the at the end of the Benny Hill, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. It's a great program to watch. I don't know how well it's aged, to be honest with you, right? But yeah, at the time, it was great. It was great.
It's gonna be canceled now.
Yeah, and I think we sometimes run the risk of being cancelled, but hey, we'll deal with it, right? We'll deal with it. Right, Jet, you're up, mate.
The
You're
film,
in the film.
yeah, the film that inspired me was up to this day, and I'm still enjoying it. I'm recommending it. It's Dead Poets Society.
Oh!
Yeah,
So
we recommend that one. Yeah.
I've always recommended it. I've recommended it to Krix, and I recommend it to a lot of people. It's something that's going to point you to the direction where you want to be. Is it really? Is there's something that you want or somebody else want for you, and you have to have that decision and follow your dreams, follow what you are passionate about.
That's great.
Amazing.
The scene where, without giving too much away about it, but the scene with the crown,
Mm-hmm.
that's a horrible scene, right? That cuts you to the
Mm-hmm.
bone. And then the other
Yep.
one is when, obviously, Captain, my captain.
Yeah,
Uh,
Captain, my Captain.
Captain,
Yeah.
Captain.
and
Yeah.
then when I don't know if you remember this, but for some reason, they're sat on the floor, right? In his classroom. And he starts reading this poem. And all I can remember from the poem, no, it's not a poem. He's explaining why poetry is so important.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
he talks,
Engineering,
yeah,
architecture.
Yeah.
and he talks about the marrow, right? How it sucks
Mm.
the marrow out of life. I
So
just think it's a brilliant film.
we should suck on the marrow of life, but
There
don't
you go.
choke on the bone.
There, that's it. Jack, you're just a genius, mate. You're wasted. You're just a genius. You're a genius, man. Right, okay. My list, and it is a list, right? But you'll spot there's a common theme. So I actually pulled one of these out for the Raftbuilder, but unfortunately he wasn't able to join us. So these are the films that really inspired me. Right, Tin Cup. Have you guys ever seen
Yeah,
Tin
yeah, I
Cup?
did. Yeah,
Brilliant. FP knows that.
brilliant.
Sorry, Raftbuilder knows more or less every line from that film, particularly where he keeps going for the shot on the 12th. Right, there's a line in that, and I can't remember it, but yeah, Remember the Titans? Have you guys ever seen Remember the Titans?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have.
See, there's a theme. Rocky, of course, right? Given how
Sports.
old I am. Yeah, Rocky. Invictus. Have you guys ever seen Invictus? Brilliant
Yes.
film. Yeah,
Brilliant film.
And more inspiring because it's a true story. In fact, a lot of these are a true story, right? But yeah, Invictus. Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, okay, I'll take that. Scent of a Woman. I thought Al Pacino in that was amazing, particularly, you know, the last scene where he stands up at the end in school. I thought that was, or college, I thought it was fantastic. My last one, before I get to the one I'm going to call out, same as you, Dead Poets Society. Fantastic film. Fantastic film. And my last one, an oldie but a goodie, and didn't do well at box office, went straight to DVDs as it was back when I was growing up. Well, actually, video. It may even be video cassette.
VHS.
VHS, right? VHS. The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That, for me, that was
I
an
watched
amazing
it
film.
in the movie theater. Yeah. That was an amazing film. Yeah.
That was it. Brilliant. Some really good films there, guys. Some really good films. Krix, you never cease to amaze me. I think me and Jet just do it like 5 minutes beforehand. Right, we'll do that. We'll call that. All right. Krix, I'm pretty sure you spend a whole week going, but that symbology means this. This means that. And I'm going to, fair play to you. Fair play to you.
I actually have, when I was younger, I always read the IMDb part, the trivia part of the movies. And the reason why it really piqued my interest because I love movies. I'm shocked that you didn't put Bend It Like Beckham on your list. Just kidding.
No.
But yeah.
There's only one reason I'd have put Bend It Like Beckham on my list, and if that's what we were talking about, Keira Knightley, and we're not talking about
Keira Knightley, that's it.
Keira
Knightley.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Keira
Oh, by the
Knightley.
way, though, the other actress that was in Bend It Like Beckham, she's gone on to be
Parminde Nagra.
yeah, she's gone on to be a huge star, right? She was in ER, which ER is one of my favourite TV series, to be honest. Anyway, we're digressing. Wonderful, guys. Wonderful. Some great films, and I hope people out there take on our recommendations or don't. You either go, yeah, we like those films, or we won't like them films, so don't bother watching. So really appreciate it. We've got a lot of comments. Thank you so much again for your support. Krix, I'm going to come to you now because Jet's gone, Raftbuilder's gone, I've gone. So your choice for next week's topic. And don't make it, what does the symbology in Lord of the Rings mean? All right?
Do you remember the old MTV segment in the 90s where they choose the artist of the month and then they choose their 5 favorite music videos?
Okay.
So I'm thinking of music videos, top 5 favorite music videos.
Is it music videos or music tracks? Because there's a distinct difference, right? Videos.
Videos, the MTV, old school MTV ones.
So next week, 6 p.m. PH time next week, we are going after the MTV generation, correct?
Yes, we are.
Right. So we're asking Jet the Geek, Krix, Podcast Pool, and of course the Raftbuilder, hopefully he's back next week, to select 5 artists.
Maybe 5 music videos. For example, number 1, Shakira, Whenever, Wherever. Number 2.
Get out. Get off the show.
I was just kidding.
All right. Okay. So 5 music videos, not songs. So these are completely different, right? Whereas there's a track that may mean something to you, but when you look at that video, it doesn't necessarily have what you were after, right? Okay. Got it. All right. So
or you're not a fan of that band, but once you watch the video, that
exactly. So a quick trivia question. Jets, Krix, which was the first ever video played on MTV?
Video Killed the Radio Star.
Oh, Krix is on fire.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Video Killed the Radio Star. But who sings it? Or who sang it?
The Bugles?
Bubbles.
Oh my God.
Close, but no cigar. All right, so next week, 5 music videos. Okay, this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Gotta go back, man.
Yeah.
Go back again. Krix, why'd you make me feel so old?
Paul and I would probably do one per decade.
Jet, you're not joking, mate. I'm going back now, thinking, well, I remember that from the '80s. I remember that one
Yeah.
from the '90s.
90s. Yeah.
But then, kind of after the '90s, I'd stopped watching music videos, right?
Oh,
Yeah, because
well, after the noughties, music video just digress.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Right, okay. All right, this will be a good one. So, audience members out there, please let us know what your thoughts are. Top 5 music videos from the 1980s onwards. Yeah, this will be fun. I'm looking forward to this. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Krix, love your Funko Pop display in the background there. That's wonderful. Thank you. Jet, as always. Oh, hang on. We've just got a message from the Raftbuilder. If somebody can reply to him. Yeah, we are. Hang on. Yeah, I've just messaged him back. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so in fact, and then we can tell him what we're going to do next week, right? He'll look forward to that. Hang on, we've got a comment here. More likely the topic next week. This is from DM our regular viewer. More likely the topic next week will be bring us to our child. Yeah, it will. Although DM, my childhood, there was no such thing as videos going back to my childhood. Anyway.
I always
There
gonna
was only-
have Michael Jackson.
There was only three channels when I was growing up in the UK. 3 TV channels. Seriously.
Really? You mean we had more?
Why would I lie about that? Why would I go, do you know what? When I was growing up, there was only 3.
We had 5.
We had 3,
Yeah.
then we had 4. I remember, so we're going completely on a different direction, right? But I remember Channel 4 when it's launched, which was kind of, I think it was 1980. I want to say 4, but I'm probably wrong. So yeah, can you imagine? It's just madness. The madness in terms of how old I am, I guess, and kind of the changes we've seen.
I'll let you into something in the 80s here in Manila. We were all caught up with the British music scene then. That in this weather, you could see people wearing Doc Martens and trench coats.
And
Where did the trench coats come from?
From a thrift shop. They would buy it from a thrift shop.
Yeah.
Okay, but there wasn't a particular scene or The Cure, right? Robert
The
Smith.
Cure, Robert Smith.
Yeah, Robert Smith. Who, a completely different topic, who is the inspiration of Dream, right?
Dream, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, our world is mad sometimes. All right, so I thought Epi was going to have the chance to join, but it doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Anyway, so next week, top 5 music videos. I think I can only think of 2 that come up straight off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to do a lot more thinking. All right. Okay, so next week, top 5 music videos for everybody. Please get back in touch. Tune in next week. And yeah, this is going to be a fun generational gap discussion. Oh man, I'm thinking about it now. I'm not going to spoil it. Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Krix, anything to say to our viewers out there before we say goodbye?
Well, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. And yes, please don't forget to watch our episode today and wait for Epi for next week. We kind of miss him today.
I
So,
know.
yeah. Yeah. There. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. I love that. Right, Jet, mate. Anything you want to say to our viewers out there?
Go out and watch Dead Poets Society.
Oh,
Whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
engineering, being a doctor,
Architecture.
those are noble pursuits. But what really keeps us alive is the arts, the poems,
Yeah.
the movies, and all those.
Love it.
what a way to finish the show. I can't top that, mate. You give me goosebumps. So wonderful. Audience members out there, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a great show. We've had a bit of peek into Krix's tortured, twisted mind a little bit. We know that Krix doesn't know how to use a life jacket, unfortunately, which is probably a skill she should learn quite quickly. And we also know now why Jet will never swim in open water again. and why I'm scared to open the fridge at any time. All right, guys, it's been a great show. Thank you so much. I don't say this lightly. This is the highlight of my week. I love it. It's great to be able to do this with you guys. So thank you so much. Audience members, please let us know what you want us to discuss. Well, we're discussing music videos. We'd like to know your top 5 music videos for the last generation, from the 1980s onwards, and next week's show. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.